While the world was distracted by headlines, a silent financial earthquake just hit the U.S. Treasury. We're not talking about a small policy change. We're talking about a $200 billion tactical strike aimed directly at the heart of the American housing market. President Trump just bypassed the traditional, slow-moving bureaucracy and issued a directive that has Wall Street panicking and Main Street wondering, is the nightmare finally over? But as someone who unmasks the money, I can tell you, this isn't just a gift, it's a high-stakes gamble using the very foundation of the American economy as collateral. Today, we are going deeper than any news outlet. We are unmasking the $200 billion housing shockwave. To understand this, you have to understand liquidity. In 2024 and 2025, the housing market was frozen. Why? Because mortgage rates were so high that nobody wanted to sell and nobody could afford to buy. The gears of the American dream were rusted shut. Enter the Trump directive. He's not using taxpayer money from your pocket, not yet. He's tapping into the $200 billion in retained earnings from Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. These are the two giants that back almost every mortgage in the USA. For years, this money sat there as a safety net. Trump just grabbed that net and turned it into a massive buying machine. By ordering the Treasury to buy mortgage-backed securities, MBS, the government is artificially creating demand. When demand for these bonds goes up, the interest rates on your mortgage go down. It's a direct injection of adrenaline into a dying market. The results were instant. We just saw 30-year fixed rates touch 6.06%, a level we haven't seen in over 3 years. For a family looking at a $400,000 home, that's a difference of nearly $500 a month in their pocket compared to last year. But here's what they aren't telling you in the news. While the government is forcing rates down, inventory, houses for sale, hasn't caught up. We are still millions of homes short. Basic economics tells us that if you give everyone more money via lower rates, but don't give them more things to buy, prices skyrocket. We are potentially creating the 2026 housing bubble. And this directive is the needle that could pop it. The Federal Reserve versus the White House. Now, this is where the story takes a dark political turn. You might think that if the president is forcing mortgage rates down, everyone would be celebrating. You'd be wrong. The Federal Reserve and Chairman Jerome Powell are reportedly blindsided by this move. The Federal Reserve's primary mandate is to fight inflation by tightening the money supply. But when the White House directs a $200 billion injection, they're essentially flooding the engine with liquidity. We are now witnessing a high-stakes financial civil war. On one side, the White House is slamming on the gas to save the housing market. On the other, the Fed is hitting the brakes to prevent an inflation spike. This friction is creating a volatile market where interest rates could swing wildly in 2026, leaving millions of homeowners caught in the crossfire. The death of institutional landlords. But the biggest plot twist isn't about the money, it's about who is allowed to own the dirt. For the last decade, corporate giants like BlackRock and Vanguard have treated the American neighborhood like a private monopoly board. They've bought up hundreds of thousands of single-family homes, outbidding families with cash and turning the American dream into a permanent rental nightmare. Trump's new executive order is a direct shot across their bow. It proposes massive tax penalties on institutional investors who hold onto large portfolios of single-family homes. The message is loud and clear. Houses are for families, not for hedge funds. If these corporations are forced to liquidate their holdings to avoid these taxes, we could see a massive surge of inventory hitting the market. This would be a black swan event for housing prices, potentially causing the biggest price correction we've seen since 2008. The 401k gamble, a masterstroke or a trap? To add fuel to the fire, a new policy is being debated that would allow first-time buyers to tap into their 401k retirement savings for a down payment, without the usual 10% penalty. On the surface, it looks like a hero move. Finally, I can afford that $50,000 down payment. But Think like a financial predator for a second. You're being encouraged to trade your guaranteed future retirement for an inflated present asset that might be at the peak of a bubble. If the market crashes in late 2026, these buyers won't just lose their homes, they'll lose their entire life savings. This is the ultimate debt trap I've been warning you about. At the end of the day, Trump's $200 billion move is a massive experiment in American home ownership. While lower rates and corporate crackdowns offer a glimmer of hope, the fundamental risks of inflation and housing bubbles haven't disappeared. This isn't just about buying a house, it's about timing the most volatile market we've seen in decades. If you play it smart, you win. If you follow the hype, you pay the price. My advice? Watch the inventory. Protect your liquidity and never trade your future for an asset you can't afford. If you want to stay ahead of the next market shock, you need to see the truth that the mainstream media won't tell you. Click that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Now, I'll be unmasking every dollar of this $200 billion injection as it hits the streets. Drop a comment below with "ready" if you're looking to buy this year. This is Money Unmasked, and I'll see you in the next breakdown.